Hi, welcome to CEM Top 10 about routines. I'm Sally Hansen, the Classroom Engagement Model Content Lead and a PDF in Region 11. And I'm going to walk you through an introduction or a refresher, depending on if you've been through the CEM trainings before, around how we use routines in the classroom engagement model to increase engagement. So first of all, the classroom engagement model is a routines-based model. All of the work we do to engage all children, to engage individual children, and to use data, as well as using collaboration with families and each other, is based in routines. So first, let's unpack what are the key components of a classroom engagement model classroom. Number one, predictable, consistent routines. Increasing predictability and consistency allows children to relax and fully engage. And we will talk about what that looks like in future slides. We also have engaging activities with multiple levels of active participation. Active participation is the CEM Top 10 concept that I will provide you with a short overview in the next series. We're embedding learning opportunities for all children into routines and then individual children as well. Classroom engagement model classrooms have access and support for all children to participate in every routine, regardless of culture, ability, regardless of which language they speak at home, if they're deaf, hard of hearing, etc. And then a classroom engagement model classroom has peers as engagement partners. So what do we do to create routines that support engagement and learning? Some of the practices that we're going to be looking at and thinking about strategies for can be found in your classroom engagement model key practices self-reflection. On the share site, you can find this self-reflection tool. You can consider your frequency of using each practice and whether or not you'd like to have some support from a colleague or a coach in learning how to do that practice more frequently. The reason that we focus on routines and having consistent, predictable routines is that predictability increases engagement. So when children are able to answer the 4 questions in the navy blue boxes on the left, what am I doing now? Am I making progress? How will I know when I'm finished? And what comes next? We know we have a consistent, predictable routine. Now, we don't encourage you to go around your classroom and interview the children, asking them these questions. Rather, we're expecting that if you observe a group of 3, 4, or 5-year-olds, you'll be able to tell. We've all been in classrooms where it's pretty clear that kids don't know what they're supposed to do after they finish a particular routine. After snack time, it sort of devolves into organized or unorganized chaos. And we've all been in classrooms where if there's a substitute leading circle time, and the substitute teacher doesn't move on to calendar, which is next, the children will say, no, that's not how we do it. We do calendar next. So thinking about how we can increase predictability, we can think about giving really clear directions for a task that has a beginning, a middle, and an end for the routine. So how do we line up to go to the bathroom? What's the first thing we do when it's time to line up? Are we dismissed by the color of our shoes, or do we have listening for the letter of your name? What happens in the middle of that transition? I walk over to the door, I stand on the train that matches the beanbag I'm holding. And then what's the end of it? The expectations for the hallway. We have a poem that we say, and then we start to walk to the bathroom. We do the same thing every time, so there is a consistent order of activities in the daily schedule. We can change up the specific things we do, and we'll talk about how to do that so that we have, so that we can avoid any redundancy or children or adults getting bored with the routine. The next thing we want to know is, how am I making progress? So if we think about a routine like circle time that might last 15 or 20 minutes, hopefully not longer than that, given that the research tells us children under the age of 5 can't attend to a large group activity for longer than that. But if we had a 15-minute circle time, there might be several things taking place during that time. Maybe we're reading a book, maybe we're going through the jobs for the day, we might have a social emotional lesson, or we might be looking at our center choices. If we have a child who struggles to engage in a large group setting, children who don't sit well during large group time, it's hard for them to attend to, there's so much going on, or maybe they just don't like it. Maybe they're much happier and much more interested in child-directed time. One thing we can do to support their engagement is to help them understand how long will this routine last. So if we create a mini schedule with visuals showing them that we will first read our book, then we will have our job helper chart, then we'll have our social emotional lesson, and finally we'll look at the centers for the day. They can see that they're making progress through this routine and anticipate how much longer they need to attend to something difficult for them or something non-preferred. I think about this for myself. If I'm needing to engage in Excel spreadsheet data entry, that's a task I don't like. So I need to know how long, how many more entries will I need to do? Am I halfway done? Okay, am I 3/4 of the way? Having those visual prompts and verbal supports can make a big difference in engagement. How will I know when I'm finished? Thinking about giving children those transition warnings, in 2 more minutes we'll be done with free play, or after we read this book we'll be done with circle, so that we can predict when we will be done with a particular part of a routine can really help children do one more thing. And then finally, having a clear what comes next. Verbally reminding children what comes next in the schedule. After outside time, we have snack, that kind of thing can be very helpful. I think that reflecting on your own need for predictability can be a good cue as to what kind of consistency children will need as well. If you think about attending training, maybe you're going to CEM 1 and you want to be able to answer these same questions. What are we doing right now? Is it lecture time? Is it activity time? Is it get up and move time? How will you know you're making progress? You have a clock, you have a watch, you have hopefully some visuals to attend to where there's a slideshow, maybe some handouts. If you didn't have any of those things, if the trainer, if I just said to you, all right, we're going to talk about classroom engagement model and didn't give you any cues as to when you'll be done or how you're making progress or what comes after that, you might find it difficult to engage. Just imagine it for a minute and then think about in what ways you can use that kind of thinking and knowledge to support children in routines in your classroom. So the first thing for us to do really is to create a predictable daily schedule. The schedule should have things in the same order every day. The length of time really doesn't matter. So if you're going to have a longer or shorter circle time one day, that's not so critical. It's the general order of things that we suggest and the research shows should stay predictable and consistent. Things to consider when you create your schedule, of course, is the length of activities. Should be consistent with the children's attention span and development. For those of you wondering, the letters behind the prompt, RPE3INS4, that is top secret code for the DEC, Division of Early Childhood, recommended practice. And so these are the evidence-based practices that support children's engagement and learning. And the length of activities is referenced in environment practice number 3 and instruction practice number 4. The next thing we consider is the balance throughout the day. So children need a variety of quiet and active things to do, teacher-directed time, child-directed time, large group and small group activities. So planning for that variety is critical for engagement and learning. And then finally, ensuring that we have experiences in all areas of development. We don't want it to be Monday is motor day and Tuesday is cognitive day. Every day should have a variety of learning goals embedded into routines for all children that give them opportunities to be social, to practice their cognitive development skills, to work on self-help, lots and lots of language practice at this age, and of course, gross and fine motor. So with your team, one opportunity you could do is just look at your own daily schedule, take some data, graph it out. The routine can be listed down the left-hand column, and then you can be thinking about, is it active or passive, adult-directed or child-directed, large group or small group? And so if we did that, if we filled in the activities on the left, the different routines that happen every day in the same order, And then we went ahead and gave them a description of active or passive, child-directed or adult-directed, large or small group. We could start to see some patterns. And we might wonder if we have too many passive activities in a row between our story circle, our snack time, and book time before getting outside. And the only way to know if this is problematic is to watch the children. We all know that some classes, this will work just fine. And in other classes, this will not work at all. So if you have a routine where more than 5 to 10% of the children are disengaged, I would start by looking at the routine. So if you have 16 children in the class, if you have 4 or 5 of them who are not engaged during that book time, you're redirecting and redirecting and redirecting, I would go back and look at my daily schedule. I'd look at my routine. I'd look at active participation, and I would wonder if we're meeting a variety of needs so that all children can be engaged. And those are conversations to have with your coach. Once we have our predictable daily schedule, then we move into routines within routines within routines. And the reason we create this level of detail is to increase predictability and consistency that some children need, not all children, but some children. And those who don't need it won't be harmed in any way. We create more opportunities for active participation when we detail our routines to this level. We actually provide ourselves with more opportunities to embed learning and to have those goals right within those routines. Also gives us an opportunity to more easily determine the individual support a child will need. And so the routines as the base of our entire classroom engagement model project really does open up doors for us later in our work around increasing engagement and learning. So how do we go about doing this? Our first schedule, routine number 1, is that predictable daily schedule. And so many teams who are using classroom engagement model will fill out this box and then make copies of it so that as they unpack the second routine, they have that blank box there, but the daily schedule is already ready. So once we've had our predictable daily schedule charted in, then we decide which of those routines do we want to further detail and what will the order of activities be. So here we have greeting song, child choice song, social skill lesson, and choosing centers. Those are vague enough that we can change what the greeting song is. Obviously, child choice song can be changed. The social skill lesson can be different every day. And choosing centers, there may be different activities at the centers. So even within this predictable routine, we still have a lot of flexibility to meet a variety of learning needs and to just plain add interest and be fun. In this example, we have a child choice song as our third routine. So first routine, routine within routine, the routine within the routine within routine is the child choice song. And this is simply how this particular classroom goes about that routine every day. First, they choose a popsicle stick out of the cup. The popsicle stick has a child's name on it. The child whose name is called gets to choose which song from the menu of choices, and they add it to the sentence strip. I want to sing Itsy Bitsy Spider, and then everyone sings the song. So you can see that it's really just a matter of describing how we go about child choice song in our program, and then doing it the same way every day so that children can predict and participate fully. Again, having that routine doesn't mean redundancy. Having choice is important. Having change, meeting the children where they're at. For example, when we think about a hello song or a greeting song, you might ask yourself, what is the purpose of the greeting song? Why do we sing a hello song in preschool? And once your team has the answer to that, you can decide, will we sing the greeting song from September through May? Will we have a variety of greeting songs? Or will we move away from a greeting song and into another activity at some point in the school year? If the purpose of the greeting song is to learn everyone's names, you might decide once all the children know each other that you'll stop singing a greeting song and move into something else. If the purpose of the greeting song is to welcome every child to the class and to make sure every child is acknowledged, you may choose to sing some type of greeting song throughout the entire year, but maybe change which song you sing. And that's an opportunity for your team to have discussion. Why are we doing calendar at Circle? If it meets learning goals and it's age appropriate, and the way that you do it is engaging, then keep doing it. If you're just doing it because you've done it for 10 years, I invite you to really question, what is the purpose of the activity? And I think that can be applied to any activity we do in preschool. What is the purpose? What do I want children to learn during this time? And is this the most effective way for this group of children to learn it? Another example of participation in routines to the third power is in a transition routine. So again, we have our daily schedule. We've unpacked our opening circle, and the last thing we're going to do is to choose centers. And here again, we've added social goals. We've added some language opportunity by adding the reading the sentence strip. And then we've added some opportunities for thinking and some cognitive work by making those choices. So this is where it's your turn to try it. The invitation for you is to try one routine at a time. Start small, go slow. And if you are just getting started with routines to the third power, one hint is that it is easier to do this with teacher-directed routines than it is for child-directed routines, although every routine can have a routine to the third power. Another word to the wise is every single thing you do does not have to have a routine to the third power. Generally speaking, each big routine from your daily schedule should have one. So start with those tips, talk to your coach, talk to your colleagues, and thank you for watching the CEM Top 10 on routines.